Okay, in case nobody told you today, I am so proud of you for taking action. Hello guys, how is everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel and to BIZember, the month where I'm going to show you how you can make 2020 your most successful, most productive year yet. My name is SaBine, I am a growth mindset coach for millennial femtrepreneurs and we have a new background. I am in Germany with my parents at the moment. I'm actually in my own room here and we are also joined by the cutest dog ever, little Anton here. Come on, Gigi. He is just such an angel and he will be joining us for today's video, which is BIZember day 7, and we're going to talk about limiting beliefs, what they are, why they're important, and how you can work with them to become the best version of yourself. Now, before we start talking about limiting beliefs, you have to understand first what a belief is. A belief basically means that you accept that something exists or believe to be true without evidence. So it's kind of a state of mind, but without proof. Now, when we think about limiting beliefs, a limiting belief is always related to our self or our self-identity. And again, we think that something about us is true without necessarily having evidence. Most of the time, it's something that we're insecure about, that we haven't really experienced yet, or it is something that we have experienced in the past and it wasn't necessarily positive. It was a very negative experience that is still lingering to our today's present. And because of that, limiting beliefs prevent us from seeing our true selves, because we stick to these old beliefs. So they keep us from seeing our own skills and our own talents and really from seeing us from who we actually are. And this is so connected to a fixed mindset, because with a fixed mindset you are really limiting yourself and you only see most of the time just the bad sides. You don't really see any opportunities or options that would arise. And that is linked to the next section, which is about where do limiting beliefs come from. Now, I have mentioned in an earlier video that we really live in a fixed mindset society. You know, we have all of these norms. We are being told what is beautiful, what is ugly, what is good, what is bad, what is perfect, what is not good enough, how to live your life, what would be a bad lifestyle. So this is all fixed mindset. And if we believe those things to be true because society thinks them to be true, they are automatically limiting us. So oftentimes limiting beliefs come from our environment. But even if we say, oh, I don't care what other people think, you still care a lot about what you think, don't you? And the thing is that when it comes to limiting beliefs, they really develop over repetition. You know, anything, whether it being good or bad, always develops with repetition, with you doing things over and over again. So a limiting belief is basically you telling yourself over and over again negative things that you believe to be true about yourself. Those things could be, I am not good enough, I'm not experienced enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not healthy enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not educated enough, I don't have the skill, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the power, those kind of things. If you tell yourself those things over and over and over again, they only get stronger and you start to believe them more and more, and it will be so much harder for you to get rid of those limiting beliefs. And you are just making up all of those excuses for yourself to take action. And the problem is that the more often you repeat those excuses, you will actually give them power, and this power is initially stopping you from taking action. It's so dangerous. And those limiting beliefs keep you from developing a growth mindset, because again, with a growth mindset, you understand that you have the power to change your current situation, and that in order for you to reach your goal, you only have to take enough action steps and complete enough milestones to get closer to your goal. So your current state is not your final one, it's not your fixed one. Where somebody with a fixed mindset, they only see the now and basically the gap between the now and their goal or the future. So they don't have the power or the willingness to understand how they could get there. So they're just in the here and now. They're not at their goal yet, so that's it. They're kind of done with it. And with this mindset, it really keeps you from learning new things, you know, educating yourself, because education is really key also when it comes to limiting beliefs. Because again, a belief is something that you believe to be true. So if you don't know enough about the skill that you don't have, or whatever it could be, the more insecure you are about it, and the more you believe that those negative things are true, because it's always easier to believe in something negative than to take positive action. And this is also why it's so hard to work against your limiting beliefs, or, you know, to really do something to overcome them. Because we think that if we go against these limiting beliefs, if we really try to work on them, the end result will be shame or fear or us losing our face. So we always have these negative connotations with it, and we never think about, oh, I could actually become better, you know, I could overcome this, I could actually become a better version of myself. Or, you know, if you don't speak a language, you only think about the mistakes that you're gonna make if you say things out loud, but you never think about, you know, the conversations that you could have with people in that language. And again, a limiting belief, if you have thoughts, negative thoughts, they're mostly things that aren't true, but you just believe that they are true. It's so important for you to understand this. And the thing is that if you believe those things to be true without having evidence, by you not taking action is also an action. You are kind of confirming that all of the negative things that you thought to be true, you are kind of provoking them to exist just because you were so afraid, just because you didn't take action. Because if you take action, you can only make things better. And if you don't, then at least you know what not to do. And the other issue with your limiting beliefs is your good old brain. In video 3, we talked about how the brain works and why it does what it's doing. You can watch the video up here, I will link it. Because the thing with your brain is it wants to consume the least amount of energy it has to in order to keep your vital functions running and to keep you alive for as long as possible. And in order for it to do so, it wants to save as much energy as it can. And the easiest way for your brain to do that is by running on autopilot. Now, we're not talking about, you know, breathing, digesting, all of those kind of things. We're talking about the things that you do in your day-to-day life. So obviously, if you are, for example, doing sports, or if you're doing sports, if you're learning something new, if you're pushing yourself, if you're going through challenges, that is so active, and that's something that your brain isn't really comfortable with because it is not running on its autopilot. And autopilot would be a limiting belief, because you're basically just doing what you're doing all of the time. You're limiting yourself with this belief. You are not taking action. You're just sitting there kind of being miserable about yourself. And this is, again, you know, your brain wants to save energy. It wants to store it for as long as possible. So it always pushes against you taking action, against you doing something that will move you forward. And this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to really do something against your limiting beliefs, because your brain is telling you, like, no, I don't want to do that, I want to consume energy. And the other problem here is also that a lot of people simply lack in confidence. So even if they would want to and have the energy to do something against their limiting beliefs, they simply don't have the confidence to do that. They feel like, oh, even if I would try, there wouldn't be any outcome, or even if I would try, maybe I'm going to fail just once more. So this is again also the issue. If you don't have your touch points, if you don't have experience to go against your limiting beliefs, it will be so much harder for you to do that. And that's again why a growth mindset is so important, because with your growth mindset you understand that if only you put in enough time and energy and effort and consistency, you can not only overcome this limiting belief, but you can also really do the thing that you're so afraid and so terrified of doing. In a way, limiting beliefs do sound very negative. Obviously, they are really keeping us from doing the things that we want to do. But in a sense, you also have to understand why limiting beliefs are so important. Now, this might seem a little controversial, but let me explain. Because in order for you to overcome something, you have to be aware of it first and accept it for what it is right now. Because only then you can start to take action. If you're not crystal clear of your current situation, of your current limiting belief, if you haven't defined it and kind of nailed it down, how are you supposed to take action from it? Because if you don't know what it is right now, every single step that you're going to take is nothing more than a guess. Because it might take you further, but you don't know, because you don't know where you are at right now. So you really have to pin it down, give it a name, and then go. Because in a sense, your limiting belief is the answer to your struggle. It's the answer to your question. If there's something that is holding you back, that makes you procrastinate, then you're basically telling yourself that this is actually the thing that you should be taking action on, right? Those are the areas that you need to improve, that you want to need to improve. And again, this is the difference between somebody with a fixed mindset and somebody with a growth mindset. Somebody with a fixed mindset thinks like, not in my world, like not today, not ever will I be able to overcome this limiting belief. Where somebody with a growth mindset feels like, okay, good, this is where I'm at. Now let's take the first action and then let's see where we're going to be at tomorrow. So the thing here is really not to think about it, but doing it. Literally, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And the thing is that really nobody is born a pro. You have to understand that. Nobody is born being as good as they are already now. Everything that people have achieved has been achieved by repeating things over and over again. Repetition really is key to success. And in a way, if you have a limiting beliefs, it most of the time comes out of repetition of laziness, out of repetition of negative thoughts. So again, I feel this is something that is so powerful, because what it basically means is that you have repetitively done something negative to give this so much power, to give this so much strength, to really hold you back? So again, there's your answer. If you just turn it around and repeat positive things, positive actions, success, achievement, then you can do anything, you can get anywhere, and you can overcome this limiting belief. So this is why it's so important that limiting beliefs actually exist, because they teach you that negative repetitive action leads to no success, leads to limiting yourself, leads to limiting your life, whereas positive action leads to basically the complete opposite and having your absolute dream life. And I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, cool, sounds good, let's overcome this limiting belief. But in my opinion, you first have to learn how to work with it, because a limiting belief, it's something that you have to work on mentally, and mental work always takes so much time. It is a tremendous amount of effort, emotionally as well, and you need to have the time and the willingness to do that. And that's why it's important that you first know how to work with them instead of overcoming them from 0 to now. It's not gonna happen. And the most important thing here is to know your triggers. So you need to know what triggers your limiting beliefs, where are they most prominent, and is there actually a way that you can eliminate these triggers. So if you know what the trigger is, then you have to find a way around it. There is not just one way to do something. So if you know your trigger that causes your limiting belief, just understand that this limiting belief, the thing that you're fearing to do, is not the only way to get to your goal. So find another way. And then once you've mastered that, once you've understood your triggers, then you can start asking yourself the question, how can I work with my limiting beliefs? So again, reinvent the wheel, find something else that you can excel. For example, my coach, Erin Henry, she always says that she hates writing emails, or maybe she doesn't hate it, but she's not very good at it. So in order for her to make her sales, she goes live. She's really good at talking, she's absolutely amazing at it. So she does most of her things over her Instagram lives, over her stories. So that's absolutely amazing. So she found a way around that. There's more than writing emails to sell. Understand this problem, understand what it is that you're limiting yourself with, and then find another way around. Easiest way is to simply Google it, like, how can I do this and that? And what's also really important is to tell your brain that you are worthy of doing it. This is always the thing, because if you're telling yourself over and over again that you're not even worth doing it, your brain believes that. Your brain, this is like the evidence that your brain needs to believe, to make you believe that you're not worthy or capable of doing things. So just by taking action and changing the self-talk, you can absolutely change the way your brain treats you, in a sense. It sounds a little weird, but if you understand how, I made a video about it, I will link it up here again. If you understand the difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, you can absolutely use that as well. And then if you've understood how to work with your limiting beliefs, then you can start asking yourself, how can I overcome my limiting beliefs mentally? So again, you have to realize that your limiting beliefs are not real. Even if you have some evidence in the past, where do you want to live? In your past or in your future? I think you know the answer. And you have to understand that you are in absolute control of your limiting belief. If you stick to it, then you're giving it the power. But if you're saying like, okay, I acknowledge you're here, but this is over, I'm now taking control of my future, I want to have a good life, I want to have a happy life, then you are taking this power away. You're taking this power back to yourself. You're giving the power to your growth mindset to really make changes and move yourself forward. So again, you are in control of your limiting belief, not the other way around. You really have to work with it and understand that practice makes progress. And this is so important. Like, if you just keep on working on it, like day by day by day, you get a little bit better, you get a little bit more efficient. This is where you will kick his and really become the better version of yourself that you want to be and that you should be. And the other thing is also that the more you practice something and you will get better, you will achieve something, the more confident you're going to become. If you're limiting yourself because of a confidence issue, then understand that by getting better, you will also become more confident. This is such an important thing that a lot of people underestimate, the confidence and how easy it can actually be to rewire your brain when it comes to that. And just by doing things, just by improving yourself, becoming more and more confident.
Ja, voll. Super, mein Schatz.
So if you're working on something, and you're becoming more confident, you wouldn't believe how easy it actually is. And the other thing that is so important, and I wish I could just scream it out to the world via like radio stations or whatever, but that's what YouTube's for, is that in order for you to are something, you have to become it. I love this sentence so much. In order for you to are something, you have to become it. And how do you become something? By taking action day by day by day by day by day. So if you want to change something, for example, you want to do more sports, so you want to be a sporty person, you have to be a sporty person. You have to be someone who is taking action. You know, you have to be the one that is doing sports today. This is how you can become what you want to be. You have to already act as if, you know, make it until you fake it, because this is how you are becoming in order for you to be. And it's not thinking, it's doing. And it really needs to be something that you want to do. We actually talked about this in BIZember 6. I will link it up here. But this is pretty much all that I had to say about limiting beliefs. I really hope that you learned something about it and that you realized where they are coming from. Again, they're not real. You're making them up. Even if you're making them up based on a negative experience, this experience is in the past. You want to live in the now, and especially you want to live in the future, or you want to improve yourself to have that future that you're dreaming about, okay? And in order for you to get there, there is the task of today, and I want to give you 5 exercises that you can do today and from today on every single day in order for you to overcome this limiting belief that you have, or several. So identify your limiting belief, and how you can do that is you first write down the thing that you want to do, and then you write down why it is so hard for you to get there. For example, you can write down, I always wanted to do blank, but I am unable to do it because blank, and then write down your reasons. And you will be so surprised, I'm telling you, by the power of just writing it down and the effect that it will have on you mentally. And then I want you to really challenge that limiting belief. Where does it come from? You know, is there actually proof? Is there evidence? Or are you really like 100% making it up based on some fear, based on what you think that people might think about you? Write it down and really challenge it. Where does it come from? Is there evidence, or is it really just BS? And then you really need to start replacing this limiting belief with a positive affirmation. For example, if you're saying that I can't start my business because I'm not experienced enough yet, tell yourself that I can't start my business because this is my passion and I will learn how to do it. And the next step is to prove to yourself that you are worthy of overcoming this limiting belief, that you are worthy of accomplishing whatever this limiting belief is keeping you from. So again, take small action steps every single day and prove to yourself, prove to your subconscious that you can do it. You're not only worthy, but you're actually capable of doing it. And again, act like it. Act as if it has already happened, and this will be your key to becoming. So if you want to become more productive, you have to be productive. I hope this is gonna help. Let me know down in the comment section what your limiting belief is and how you're gonna take action towards it. And just one thing that I wanted to tell you in case nobody has told you today, and especially if you haven't told yourself, that is that I am really proud of you for watching this video, for taking action towards your limiting beliefs. You are doing great, and you know, just keep on doing it. And I also want you to remember that you have already achieved great things. Keep on doing it. Remind yourself of the things that you have already achieved, no matter what it is. Be proud, have this sense of achievement. And then take it from there and become an even better version of yourself than you already are. And the last thing is basically my mantra for this year, 2019, and it is done is better than perfect. I am a hardcore perfectionist, and this perfectionism has been fueling my limiting beliefs for the longest period of time. But then I really learned that done is better than perfect. Because again, this is so strongly connected with a growth mindset. Because if you're just doing things, you are improving yourself. You're basically realizing the areas that you can improve by working on yourself with self-development. I have a whole podcast episode about this where I'm going really in depth about limiting beliefs. I will upload it next week, and once it's up, I will also link it here in the description box. But that's all from me from today. I hope that you learned something. If you want to get to know me a little bit better, because I'm also a multipreneur, a diginomad, I'm constantly traveling, then go to my Instagram. The name is here, and I will also have it down in the description box again. Like the video if you've learned something, and again, let me know in the comment section what you're going to take action on today. And if you like my BIZember series and want to prepare now to make 2020 your most productive, most successful business year ever, then consider subscribing, because I'm going to give you crazy good tips on how you can start 2020 on January 1st right away, with an action plan, with a financial plan, and with an absolutely crazy yet realistic business vision. So if you're down for that, then subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for BIZember Day 8. Bye!